Hello, everybody, YouTubers. Dave Soriano. I'm a chemistry professor with the University of Pittsburgh's Bradford campus in Pennsylvania, USA. And besides being an organic chemist, I'm a self-trained artist, painter, and I enjoy thoroughly combining my interest in the art and science worlds. I just want to show you an example of some applied chemistry that could be used by artists all over the world. It involves cold wax paint, emulsified cold wax, and caustic, of course, is using molten wax with pigment. I've done some of those, but I want to show you how you can make a very attractive cold wax emulsified paint formulation from crayons. So let me just show you how I do this, and I will have a more extensive video prepared. I just want to call your attention to this to put some ideas in your head. And what I found at a local Goodwill shop, now you don't have to use this. I happened to find this, I thought it was a pipe. And it's actually used to add certain amounts of materials to make mixed drinks. But it's very handy for making small amounts of experimental paints. Now you could use probably a little metal pan, even a ceramic cup, demi-tasse cup. Use your imagination, but this worked very nice. And I put it on the hot plate. I put it on a high setting just to melt things. Now what's in there? About 1/3 of a Crayola red crayon. And of course you can use any crayon. But the proportions are important. About 1/3, maybe 1/4 of a red crayon. I also placed in there a 20% volume, or mass volume actually, varnish, dammar resin in linseed oil. That, you can find videos on that. It's not difficult. It's been known for a long time. Going back to the 1800s. And you take the dammar resin and you heat it up and melt it in linseed oil. And so here I've added about roughly an equal volume guesstimate of that dammar in linseed oil. Then I add an equal volume of water. And finally, a very important component, a non-ionic surfactant. Now, what I put in there is the commercially available Tergitol. And I will put that in the write-up, Tergitol. If you can't get your hands on Tergitol or Span 20 or Span 60, these are non-ionic surfactants. Very cheap, very important in industry in formulating different products. Try some lecithin. Lecithin, a natural emulsifier, for example, found in egg yolk. And I put in some of that. Not a lot. You have to do trial and error. But maybe about a 1/4 the amount of the crayon. It's very important to have that in there. That's going to cause your emulsifying stable emulsion. You heat that up until it's melted. I would stir it up and then when it is removed from the hot plate, let it cool for about a minute. And then I pour it right into a container, and I use these plastic cups. These come with lids. You can't see the lid, it's cut off there. But certainly you don't want this exposed to the atmosphere because the water will evaporate on you. And also the linseed oil will dry. It's not really drying, as artists know, but it's polymerizing upon exposure to oxygen. So you don't want that exposed. It'll dry out on you. And if the paint seems to be a little dry after a few days, just add a tiny bit of water. And you can stir it up. Here I'm using a toothpick, and it stirs beautifully. And I applied some to Bristol paper, and it flows off the brush beautifully. So I'm just showing you how you can very quickly, you can buy, water soluble crayons. They're very expensive, but I think this would work very well. And I'll be making some other materials along these lines, different pigments from different crayons. And of course, dry to the touch, well, give it a day. Give it a day. I prepared that sample you're looking at about 15 minutes ago, and it's already starting to dry. I think in an hour or so it would be pretty good, dry to the touch. And of course you can experiment with blending and investigating this, but hopefully this will give you an idea of things, and I hope you enjoy this little video, and I'll keep you posted. Look for some of the others that I will be doing. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.